Good evening. My name is Shachar Peled, and I'll speak to you this evening about evolution and faith. This is the third lecture in this series about evolution and faith, and today I will start discussing in depth the way that evolution in fact changes our entire perspective on reality. I would first like to quote from Teilhard de Chardin, one of the first who noted the impact of evolution on our thinking about God in his seminal book, The Phenomenon of Man. I quote, he said, "Is evolution a system or a theory? It is much more. Evolution is a general condition that all theories, all hypotheses, and all systems must bend their heads before it and conform to its conditions if they wish to be plausible and true. Evolution is the light that illuminates all facts, the parabola that all lines must adjust to." So, in fact, he was saying, and we will see how the implications of what he said are applicable to almost every line of thought, that evolution is more than just a theory. It's a meta-theory. It's a knowledge about reality that constitutes the foundation, the rock of validity, of certainty, in regard to which, or in relation to which, everything else is relative. We can compare this in a way to the way Einstein related to light, and how he developed his theory of relativity, which was in fact originally the theory of constancy. Because what happened was that over the 19th century it became evident that light was not behaving in a Newtonian way. That light had a constant speed, whether you were going away from it or chasing it, contrary to all other things in the cosmos. Light behaved in a very strange, paradoxical way, maintaining its constant speed. And this was inexplicable. It couldn't be conformed to Newton's theory. And then Einstein had this brilliant idea, okay, let's say that the only thing we know about reality is the constant speed of light. And let's see what happens to the rest of the world once we assume that that's all we know, that this is constant, this is fixed. And it turned out that everything else was relative, and the speed of light was the constant. So he got the theory of relativity out of assuming the constancy of light, because everything else is measured by the percentage of its speed as compared to light. Our entire existence, the solidity of our world, is a function of the fact that we are very, very slow, that we are very, very slow compared to the speed of light. Otherwise, we'd just be energy. Matter is a function of energy. Anyway, I don't want to go into the physics, but the important thing to know is that there are certain concepts that once you accept them as the basis of your thinking, they become a point around which everything else revolves. And evolution is that kind of thing. Evolution is a theory that is a meta-theory. It's a central basic paradigm that has implications for everything all our thoughts, all our thought systems. So, um, um, Darwin himself wrote more than 150 years ago that there is a grandeur in this vision that life began originally with a single creature, and from a very simple beginning, such a simple beginning, everything developed, and such beautiful and wondrous forms, endless forms, have developed from just one single original organism. So, in fact, Darwin and the theory of evolution describes the act of creation as an act of development. It is not a cosmos that is created de novo as it is, but something that unfolds as it develops. Still, we have de novo. We have something that comes out of nothing. When we speak of the Big Bang, that is the something out of nothing. There was nothing before the Big Bang. It was just a singularity. There was nobody knows. There was no cosmos. Nothing existed before this infinitesimal point appeared, which is the Big Bang. And this is compatible with our theological vision of God as creating the world something out of nothing, as an original creation. But a description of that creation, how did this creation behave, function, once it came about, once it was created? It turns out that it is evolutionary, that creation starts from very, very, very small and crude beginnings. And we will see later on in this series why this is so. Because the fact that it develops, that very primitive forms eventually evolve into more complex ones, tells us something about God's creation and our place in it. So the first thing that evolution indicates for us is the shape of creation. And it is a dynamic shape. It is not something static. It is not something that just is said and done. It's not finished. God has created a world that is evolving. Now, Rabbi Kook, which we will mention often because he described at great length the implications of evolution for faith, he wrote that the theory of evolution, which is slowly conquering the world, it was he lived at the turn of the century, the previous century, and that was the time that the evolution of the theory was gaining more and more ground in scientific circles. So he said that this theory of evolution is more compatible with the deeper secrets of the Kabbalah, which is in fact the ultimate theology that is at the very core of Judaism. And I believe it is the ultimate theology, and we will see how compatible it is with the evolutionary view. In a way, we will try to show evidence of what Rav Kook says here. And he says that the theory of evolution is the most compatible with the secrets of the Kabbalah more than any other philosophy. And when one truly investigates or looks in depth into this element, this foundation, this basic precept of transcending development or transcendental development, what he meant was not transcending to go beyond the world, but a development that is constantly getting better and better, higher and higher. The development itself is in a process of transcending itself, as it were. So when we inspect this principle in depth, we find that it illuminates the divine in complete clarity. And how does it illuminate the divine? How do we learn from this process about God? Because we see that infinity, in fact, is generating infinity in potentia. What this means is that actual infinity, which is the infinite unfolding of an evolution that is never stopping, that has been going on for 15 billion years and is continuing to evolve, this is infinity in fact. And it is actualizing, realizing infinity in potentia. How is that? Because infinity, infinite perfection of the divine, it is something that is appearing slowly. The world is climbing, is transcending, is ascending to something much higher than it was. So we go from within, infinity within, we spoke about this in the first or second lecture, the immanence of God, God within the world, that is infinity in actuality, is slowly raising the world and the cosmos to a point where the potential of infinity comes about. It is constantly actualizing the potential of infinity. And in that it is becoming infinity in practice. Okay, we will continue in the next lecture.